Right. And so the hypnosis technique, it helps, to my understanding, it can help enhance your self-confidence, right? And belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Or,
So here's the reason I chose it. All learning, all behavior, and all change happen unconsciously first. What do I mean by that? Think about when you first learned how to drive a car or something, right? It was super complicated, right? You had the mirrors, the signals, maneuvers. If you learned how to drive the stick shift, then you have to figure out which foot is pushing what pedal, what time, and what, there's so many little pieces to the art of driving. But then after a while of doing it, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, maybe it's longer, it automates, it becomes habitual, becomes unconscious, if you will. At that point, you can call yourself an actual competent driver. In other words, you're not good at anything. No change is really taking place until it becomes almost natural to you, shall we say, right? Until then, it's just an experiment, right? I mean, we've all gone on holiday, we've tried different things, it's interesting, but then we go back home and we become ourselves again, if you will, right? So the beauty of hypnosis is it's the ability to talk directly to your unconscious mind or someone else's unconscious mind and essentially negotiate a better lifestyle, right? Update some habits and behaviors, change some more deep-rooted fears or beliefs or concepts. And the output of that is your behaviors change, your feelings change, your thoughts change. You just interact with the world differently because you're different internally. Are you familiar with the concept perception is projection?
right. I've heard of that. Yes.
Right? And basically what it says is your inner world, which is really your unconscious landscape, is what you project into the outer world to make sense of it. So if you have a horror-bound internal world, you'll see horrors and dangers in front of you, in the whole world. If you've got a peaceful, calm inner core, then you'll see the world as peaceful and calm with maybe, yes, some risks, but, nothing that can be managed. And that's why I went for hypnosis, I think, because it goes directly to the roots of the part of the mind that creates what we perceive of as real for us. And I wanted a reality that was peaceful, it was fun, it was, successful. And so hypnosis was the tool that I went for because of it.
That's awesome. What you're saying, it can help influence your emotions and your thoughts and your behavior. It is something that we should talk more about, actually, and people don't for some reason.
Great, yeah. Because look, a lot of people assume that their automatic thoughts and their automatic feelings are them. So if I have a horrible thought about someone, let's say I meet you and I have a horrible thought about whatever it might be, right? I think, oh my gosh, what a bad person I am to think that thought. As opposed to realizing that's just a random thought, right? It could be cryptomnesia, which is something I heard somewhere and forgot about. It just popped out without me even realizing it, right? It could be other people's ideas that it just made its way through my mind. And it's not actually my idea. It's just a thought. I need to be able to separate myself from my thoughts and my feelings. These are useful tools. But if I don't separate myself, then I over-identify with my thoughts and my feelings. And then that's a recipe for disasters. If every feeling I have is me, then two things happen. First of all, what happens when I stop having that feeling? Do I stop being me? Right? And second of all, I get consumed by it. I don't have perspective anymore. I can only see through that thing. If I'm upset, then everything in the world is wrong. And that's a really dangerous mindset to allow yourself. I'll get upset, don't get me wrong. But when I'm upset, I realize that, okay, I withdraw from the world, but there's nothing wrong with the world, right? I might not want to talk to you today because I'm upset, but there's nothing wrong with you fundamentally. And instead of telling myself a story of how bad you are for upsetting me, I can take responsibility and say, okay, I now have to find this part of me that's getting upset. And there's clearly something I need to do here to work on it, to improve myself, as opposed to blaming you for what's happening inside me, which is just crazy. But let's face it, a lot of people do this, right? Especially nowadays.
Right. And that could definitely trigger the other person as well. And you're going to get a negative.
Right? I react badly to you, react badly to me. I said, you see, I told you she was no good. Then you and I attack you. Now you attack me. I told you, my God, that woman's worse than I thought she was. But what we're doing is we're just, when you take a microphone, put it too close to a speaker, you get that crazy feedback loop and everything explodes, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens when two people who over-identify with their emotions get together.
Wow.
Right? My bad versus your bad versus my bad. And then before we know it, we're at each other's throats thinking that we're both evil people, whereas we're just people. And we never need to get to that point.
Right. I think that is really great. I like the analogy of the speaker thing, how you just don't know how everybody's day's going, right? And that's kind of, I always believe just being kind or nice in a situation is because you don't want to cause a chain reaction.
Yeah. Right. But if for nothing else, out of purely selfish reasons, being nice is the most selfish choice. Why? It increases your chances of cooperation, collaboration, and it reduces your chances of conflict and worse still, creating some kind of feud with someone, which can last, decades, generations even, right? So I agree with you completely.